Hello guys, Jude the Whovian here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a video of the Doctor Who tag. Now, this is a tag answering questions about Doctor Who. Any chance I get to talk about Doctor Who, I'll accept it, as I'm a massive Whovian, and I love the show so much. It's my favourite programme in the world, and I decided it would be fun. Also, quick side note, if I sound a bit drony and a bit sniffly, that's because I've got a cold, but I wanted to make this video anyway, because I wanted to do it for a while. Anyway, let's get on with this. Who's my favourite Doctor? That's a pretty hard question. From the classic series, it's either Tom Baker or Sylvester McCoy. But in the new series, I'd say I really like Eccleston, Smith and Tennant. The thing is though, Smith and Tennant, I really like them, but if I watch a Matt Smith episode, I think he's my favourite. But if I watch a David Tennant episode, I think he's my favourite. I think they're great in different ways, but if I had to say between them two, I would probably say David Tennant. Because I grew up with David Tennant and Christopher Eccleston. But the thing is, Peter Capaldi is showing a lot of promise and a lot of good side to the Doctor, and I think he's a great actor to play the Doctor. At the start, I was kind of like, oh, do you think we should really have Peter Capaldi as the Doctor? But it was a great choice by the BBC and Stephen Moffat, and I just think he's going to do really well at the role, which he already has, actually. So, yeah. Now this is a really tough one because there's been a lot of great stories in Doctor Who. I mean, most of the episodes written by Russell T Davies have been brilliant. A lot of the Stephen Moffat episodes have. But the thing is, I think my favourite episode and story of all time is The Waters of Mars, which was a David Tennant episode, and it was quite near to the end of his run. I love this story, how it shows that he's seen on the news that, like, in his mind, that he knows all the crew members are going to die. But the thing is, he realises that he's the last of the Time Lords and that he could do whatever he wants. He has the power to save them, even though he's going to change the future and have a massive effect on space travel, time travel, that sort of thing. But it's a great performance from him, of him being all shouty and saying that this is what I'm going to do, no one's there to stop me. And I think the villains are amazingly scary, the flood zombies, and they're really well designed. In that episode, I kind of thought, is this really for kids anymore? Because that episode gave me jump scares, it frightened me. But it was an amazing episode, and it's probably my favourite story. My favourite companion, for a while it was Rose, but I just realised she was really, really like soppy, and no one really cared for her. She was a bit stubborn, and she was really annoying, I think. But she's still one of my favourites. I just think that K9 is my favourite because he always learns from the Doctor. When you see him alongside the Fourth Doctor and alongside Romana in the Key to Time episodes, it just shows that even though he's a robot, he can be funny, he can be clever, he can be daring, he can be caring, he can be loads of things, and he's just a robot dog. And the simplicity of that is just mind-blowing, how they always say a dog is a man's best friend, and the Doctor's not really a man, and K9's not really a dog, he's a robot dog, and the Doctor's a Time Lord. And when they come together in episodes, I find the K9 episodes are just the best. Although the K9 spin-off series were just rubbish, so that's the only downside, but apart from that, he is my favourite. The first story I ever watched was Rose, back in 2005 when I was about 3 or 4 years old, and I kind of didn't really understand the show being a 3 or 4 year old as I was, but it was still really entertaining for me, even though my mind hadn't properly evolved kind of yet. But I just think it was an amazing episode, and that's kind of what got me into Doctor Who. I mean, when I was 6 or 7 and David Tennant started was the Doctor, I got into it a lot more. I became a proper fan. I collected the figures, 5-inch figures. I still have them to this day. But yeah, Rose, even though it's not my favourite, it's still one of my favourites to this day because it's what brought me into the Doctor Who family, if you know what I mean, because there's a whole family of Whovians out there, and it's kind of like you're one big family, and that was that episode that brought me into it. So I'm thankful for that episode because it was such a good episode to start on. And if you're going to start watching Doctor Who, I recommend that episode, Series 1, Episode 1 of the revived series, Rose. Now, my favourite series or era of Doctor Who, in the classic series, it was probably to do with the era. It was probably the Key to Time episodes where the Doctor, Romana and K9 were trying to hunt down the Key to Time. I like this because it was the first episodes that Romana was in, because she was sent to aid the Doctor. she was a fellow Time Lady who kind of took the mickey out of the Doctor for not scraping through on his like Time Lord exams. Of the new series, it's probably series 2 because it was the best introduction to David Tennant. It kicked off with the Christmas invasion. That was brilliant, and I think that's probably one of my favourite series or eras to this day, because that was kind of the series that got me into Doctor Who, as I said before. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. The companion Rose and Mickey, they were great. I mean, I think I would happily watch every episode of that series back to back, apart from Fear Her, because Fear Her's shit. My favourite pre or post regeneration story, probably pre, is Parting of the Ways, because when you see Christopher Eccleston go and how he's faced with a massive decision that he can't decide, and he sends away Rose to keep her safe, and he thinks he's going to die, and then she just comes in at the last second and saves his life, but he regenerates because he absorbs the time vortex, and it was originally going to kill Rose, but he saves her. My post regeneration story is probably The 11th Hour, because it's about Matt Smith saying to Amelia Pond that he's going to come back in 5 minutes, but I think it's about 12 years, and he's coming to terms with that he's just regenerated. He's really sad from him regenerating. He doesn't really know what to do, and then he just beats the aliens. He sends them away. He gives this massive speech on top of the hospital, and he takes Amy away in his box, and he says, "I'm definitely a mad man with the box," and that's what kicks off Matt Smith's series, and I think it's an amazing post-regeneration story. My favourite TARDIS desktop theme is a hard one because I like all of them. From the classic series, it's probably Tom Baker's secondary control room that he uses. It's kind of like woodenish, and the like console is quite small in the middle. He was using that when he was with Sarah Jane mostly. From the new series, it was probably Matt Smith's second one that was first seen in The Snowman and last seen in The Time of the Doctor. I just thought that it's so slick and shiny, and it looks so new and beautiful. I mean, like David Tennant's looked, I really did like David Tennant's, but his one looked all kind of like dirty and muddy. As said by Wilfred Mott, it could look a bit cleaner. But apart from that, I really liked it. I mean, Matt Smith's first one was a bit all over the place and bubbly and a bit weird looking, kind of like David Tennant's one on drugs. But I think Matt Smith's secondary one and Peter Capaldi's first one were both really, really good. My favourite villain or monster would have to be the Silurians, because even though they're kind of not villains, they were living on the Earth, and then they kind of foresaw a cataclysmic event, and they burrowed underground and lived underground. It turned out that they prophesied wrong, and it didn't actually happen. When the humans started to evolve, they took over the planet, and it's kind of like the Silurians are trying to get it back, and they're saying, "Oh, we were there first. We're still alive. We should have the Earth." And the story, The Hungry Earth and Cold Blood, they were amazing. It was showing how Matt Smith was trying to make the humans and the Silurians live in peace, but the woman, she killed Restak, the Silurian, Restak's sister, and which sparked off kind of like a battle underground, and it meant that the Silurians and the humans could not live in peace. But right at the end of the episode, you see that the Doctor says, "Set your alarm for 1,000 years," which means in 1,000-year time, the Silurians and the humans could once again, well, not once again, but they could live in peace and harmony like they should. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I tag anyone who's a Doctor Who fan and has a camera or anything like that, or a recording device or an editing software or anything, even if it's a bog standard phone, then please make a video response, and I tag you because I want to see how you feel. It's brilliant knowing other people's opinions, and I can use them to modify my own, and it's brilliant. Even if you have nothing like that, maybe even leave a comment on the video, tell me, answer a few questions or all of them, depending on which ones. Like, comment, subscribe, as I said, comment which ones you think, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.